Hello, it's Mimi from Zolo Kitchen. We are going to be making one of the most popular items that we used to have in our cafe, VO2 Vegan Cafe in Cambridge. This is a nacho cheese sauce, and it was kind of cultish. People really loved it. I created this this particular recipe to be made in bulk because we made it every day. So I'm going to give you some suggestions as we move along. But first things first, I've got 4 cups of vegetable broth in my pot. And then we've got 2 cups, and if you notice, I cut everything the same size. So 2 cups of potatoes. Now, if you use those yellow potatoes, like the super thin skin, you don't even have to peel it, but I had like a russet, so I peeled it. Half cup onion, a cup onion and a half cup carrot, same kind of sizing. And here's the cool thing, when you work with cashews, a lot of times you have to soak them because you want them to be nice and soft so that they'll blend up nicely. What we're going to do is throw them right into water. So I've got a cup. And some garlic. Put like 3 or 4 cloves. All right, I'm going to put this on the stove. Now, if we're doing it on the stove, it's probably going to be about 25 minutes. You want those carrots and potatoes to be nice and soft so you can just taste them, but I'm going to say about 20, 25. If you have a pressure cooker or an Instapot, you can do it in like 10, but we're just going to do it on the stove. Okay, so I'm just walking over here to my stove, and my stove is a pain in the ass. I have to light it with a match because it just doesn't like to light on its own. And I'm going to put this on high until it starts to boil. And then I can turn it back down and we'll let it cook for like 20 minutes or so and check it. In the meantime, we are going to make our spice mix. Now, there are 6 spices / salt, pepper in this recipe. I am going to include a recipe to make it in bulk because if you like this recipe, what I would recommend is that you make a big batch of it, and then you're just gonna add like 2 big tablespoons of the mix to your nacho cheese sauce, which will make things much easier. I always did this in the cafe because then it was super easy, but it would also make sure that the blend of spices was correct and the ratio was correct and all that stuff. So that said, this is a very customizable recipe, so you can remove or add whatever you want. All right, so we're gonna make the spice mix for just this batch. Teaspoon of mustard, teaspoon of smoked paprika. Isn't that pretty? A teaspoon of onion powder. Even though we have onion in there, the onion powder is more kind of condensed in flavor, so I still think it's worth putting that in there. A teaspoon of garlic powder and about a teaspoon of ground pepper. And a teaspoon of salt. Here comes the animals. As soon as I start, all kinds of chaos. Okay, so we're just gonna make sure this is all mixed up nicely. It doesn't matter because we're gonna throw it in the blender, but I'm just so I've got my spice mix mixed up in there. And it is ready to go. So we're going to take a little pause while I get my potatoes and onions and carrots cooked, and then we're gonna come back, throw it in the blender with a couple other things. So, like I said, if you decide, like, I love this, I want to make it all the time, then I am going to include a recipe for a bulk mix, which will make about like one of those big jars full. And then rather than measuring everything out, you're going to do 2 heaping tablespoons of mix. Okay, I'll see you in a little bit.